This is a demo of how the Gummii apps worked on iPad. This is from iOS 12. So this is the suite that we have on this computer. It's got basically the Teach app, which is for teachers to have their oversight on what learners in their classroom are doing, as well as these active math pieces. Gummii Author, I can't remember at the moment what that did. We'll find out in a sec. But anyway, if we hit Multiply, which was our most popular app, it does this. That's the intro. And it brings you to a home screen. Now this home screen has been set up by a number of users. Each user, this is the idea of the iPad would be used either by multiple kids in a household or multiple students in a classroom. And for coming in on the first time, there's, you can basically hit this question mark and find out exactly how this works. And it explains how Gummii works. You can do math. Let's see if we tap on that. Do any math module, Gummii will adapt to you. Earn bolts and bones for doing math. Those are two forms of reward. One is for effort. The other one is for achievement. And then you can show off your skills. After you've done a module, it's possible to replay the module just to basically get better and better, even if you've passed the level of confidence we require. And then you could use bolts and bones to build stuff in another app we called Gummii 3D, which we were getting ready to retire when we were done. So here we can either click done or we can click got it, and that closes. There's also other information. Again, this is more for parents that sort of explains, what is Gummii. And it was about these sort of three aspects that really distinguished it. First was that it was basically more than just quote unquote recycled worksheets. And so you could click on this and learn a little bit about, and you can go to gummii.com to learn more about why we thought tactile learning was so important. Next, there's a piece about adaptive learning, exactly what that means. Again, we've got some detail here. Again, you can go to the website and learn more. That website no longer exists. And then finally, the idea that we have a real game ultimately to play here that involves taking you into the 3D world that we talk about. So this is all very much a lot of detail that's aimed at both teachers and parents. And we have a share button here, again, for anyone that wants to share this with other parents or other teachers. That we made that easy. And then we have at the bottom here, we've got what we call the power tools. Actually, I'll start with reports. Reports is basically just telling you, again, how you've done throughout the curriculum. It has the Common Core sort of alignment here, and we can see progress for each learner, just how many levels they've played, and what their accuracy has been to that point. This person here, this Apple M person, could also basically, they have their attitude towards math that they provide when they sign up. That's an attitude we're looking to revisit over time. And then this is clearly the effort is for the bolts that they've produced, and the bones is again the other form of reward. Most games have that two-form currency reward, and we basically copied that for reasons that we'll see. Then what we have are called power tools. These are basically not so much games as ways of just understanding the basic concepts you can use in the games. So number line was just like it implies. I could start here at 1 and say, let's say if I want to add 4 to 1, I can hop 4 times and I get up to 5. And then that clears. And similarly, I could start at 9 and take 4 away or 3 away, and that gets me to 6. So that was our basic number line tool. Then we had what we called multi-block. This is basically just a visual representation of multiplication. So if I'm trying to figure out what 4 times 7 is, I could bring that up and see how that gets me to 28, and I've got that visual representation. The next piece here, count hand was something we were also working on, basically showing you how you can effectively obviously count on your hand and use that to solve problems at a certain level. We have the what is Gummii section. Oh, no, we already saw that. We have our apps section. This basically shows, again, parents and learners an overview of, again, our Gummii sticks, which was a long multiplication tool, which is, we'll do a separate video on. Gummii Add, which was our most basic module, and the Gummii 3D, which is where you can play with your bolts and bones, and then Gummii Class. And from here, actually, you can see how I can navigate to any of these other things. So if I am a teacher, for example, let me just hit open on that. That will open the, you only get this launch screen if it's not already open. But you can see from a teacher's perspective how we've got, we've labeled certain classes. We have to be named after Harry Potter things. So there's an advanced potions class. This thing a teacher can just set. And in it, they can see that there are 4 learners, and they can see how each learner is doing. And class information, this is the class code that you use when you're logging in to make sure you're attaching to the right place. And in this version, we don't actually have what we ultimately worked on, which is a way of aggregating how the class is doing overall and how it's been progressing. But you get the basic idea. So let's exit out of that and go back to multiply and actually play a game. And we'll show what this looks like if you're setting up as a new user for the first time. Oh, by the way, here, again, once you've got these bolts and so forth and prizes, you can see each person, you can see how much they've accumulated. They could always punch out to the 3D world and go and use those tools, which in ways we'll show you momentarily. But anyway, let's just say I set up a new user here. If I'm part of a Gummii class here, this is basically telling me how basically I can connect to my class, and rewards can be shared across devices, because often we were looking at racks of iPads that were being used. But the progress would only show on the iPad where you started playing Gummii. That was just a technical thing that we couldn't get back, we were getting ready to resolve. So here I can pick an icon. Let's say I'm going to choose this race car as my look. I could then add a name. We were naming them all after rock stars. So let's make this one, why don't we call her Taylor? And then we just give a last initial of S, done. Then we would ask what grade you're in. So let's say I'm in the 2nd grade. And this is where we collect your math attitude. So this person, let's just say she finds it tricky. And then we hit done. Then you can join a class. We're going to skip that for now. And then in here, this is where I'm not sure we really had the onboarding right, because kids, this could be a bit overwhelming for them. But it does show the various bits of the various tools that we had built in. Now we're in the Multiply app, so again, we're already at some basic multiplication. And then the idea was to get to more advanced things like factoring, for example. So let's use the, actually let's just use this multiply tool to start off with. So here we've got a how to play guidance. Basically the idea is that we're showing that multiplication is a way of speeding up your process of accumulating things that you're collecting off this conveyor belt, which will give you points. Then you write in the answer that will accelerate things. And then finally you could just, you can write in the number of groups you swiped to get the answer. So how many groups of 2 do I need to get to 4? I'm not exactly sure what we've got there. It looks like the same thing. Anyway, let's just close that. So here I'm dealing with blocks of 7. How many groups of 7 do I need? I can either swipe this and then say, okay, I've already got 7. So I'll just say 1 times 7. And I just got a bolt. Here, again, I'm groups of 14. How many groups of 14 do I need? Well, let's say I realize that's just 1 now, so I can just enter that. And then 4 times 2, that's a pretty easy one. Let's say I'm already comfortable with that. Oops, couldn't read my handwriting. So there's one thing we're trying to do is to get people to form their letters well. So I've got 2 groups of 4. I've just completed a level. And then I've got a bone that I got for completing a level that I can use to win prizes in another level. So anyway, you get the idea here of this basic multiply piece here and how that would work. So that was our initial sort of introduction to multiplication. Factoring, and here if I hit the information, oh yeah, it shows me here what the CCS correspondence is for teachers. This is a bit advanced for kids, and that's why we're not entirely sure we had this part right. And by the way, I go back here and I can see my results. I can see my accuracy has been 100% so far, and like how many levels I've progressed through in that game. Let's just do the factoring one because that's kind of fun. So here the thing is I'm trying to make a certain number by having a certain number of groups of a certain number. And so there's many ways of making 8. You can see there's 1 times 8, and then there's also obviously 4 times 2, and there will be other corresponding things. And so this is also showing me how I can use the conveyor belt tool at the bottom to build up these numbers. And then I can try again. And then once I think I've got my answer, once I think I can say I'm done. So how many ways can I make 6? Well, I can make 1 group. Oops, why is that not writing? Let's say this has to go first. Okay, groups of 2. So it looks like you start over here. I make groups of 2, 3 groups of 2 will make 6. And I can see this here, how that happened. So I'm going to enter that, or no, you can either enter, which tells you as if that's all you can do. This will tell me that, does this make the product? Yes. Tap enter. If not, go again. Oh, the go again was basically my restart. So the next thing I could do is I could have obviously 2 groups of 3. And then I can enter that. Actually, oh, and there when I hit done, as though I'm finished, it says actually there are more ways. So tap go again. So now I can do groups of 6. I can do 1 group of 6 and hit enter. And then lastly, of course, can do 6 groups of 1. So enter that. And once this is completed, and again, you can see it all counting up visually there at the bottom, I've got my my game. So here I'm going to say, are there more ways to make 6? I'm going to say I think I'm done now. I was, so I just got a point for that. So that was the factoring game, and that could be quite a lot of fun. And then rectangles, just one more game I'll introduce here, but rectangles was a really fun one, and actually probably our most successful, because here the idea is that I'm trying to collect these bolts, and they're going to disappear if I don't collect them fast enough. And I can get them faster by drawing rectangles. I can go even faster by writing the number that would create those rectangles. So this is, again, just moving from, I guess what you would call sort of concrete aspects to a pictorial aspect, and I guess this is the abstract. So let's hit got it, and let's just play it. So I'm going to do, this might take a while to, this can be kind of fun. Okay, this is pretty easy. This one is just, I'm just tapping, but look at all the bolts I'm getting. That's what we call blissful productivity. Get bolts by tapping them. So go to the next part. And if I don't, let's just say I don't move fast enough on some of these, they will disappear. See, that one went. So I didn't get all the bolts that I could get because I'm just relying here on tapping. And it goes a little faster and faster, and then I'm done. Now I think we go through one more, maybe 2 more levels of this. I'm just going to miss a couple of bolts, so I'm not, oh damn, I didn't get that bolt, didn't get that bolt. I'll go a little slower. Oh, didn't get that one. So I'm starting to see that, maybe this tapping thing isn't the best way of moving forward. So here I go. And then I just got a big woo. Okay, I got a whole bunch of bolts there. And I can, now the bolts are getting past. Oh, this is a character called Zoom, who we used to have. Zoom was your dog, who used to fly around in the earlier versions of this, and then the technical debt was just too high. So now we're going to use patterns. So now let's see if oh no, I'm still tapping. I can't actually draw patterns here yet, but oh, you'll see that these are all appearing within that's the pattern. They're all appearing within this box. And likely at this level here, they're all appearing within this box. So we can see here a 2x3, right? Since we know where this is going, that's going to be a 2x3 rectangle that'll ultimately work to capture these. And then ultimately I'll be able to just write in a 6, and that'll take out the things I want. I'm just going to just go absolutely nuts here. But it's going to get to a point where I really do need to have, oh, look at this. Now I'm at a 7x7. This is going to be, get to the point that I really am missing out on bolts. Oh, I missed that one. Okay. And then now I'm past level 2. Now I can get more bolts at once by making rectangles and zapping whole areas. Okay, thanks, Zoom. So here I can see, okay, there's a rectangle. If I just go like this, I made a 3x4 rectangle. Now we're not actually telling them. And notice how it freezes as I'm making this. We didn't want, you don't want to be panicking as a student. Once you start drawing a rectangle, you can start to say, oh look, a 3x4 rectangle in this case helps get all these things. And I can make rectangles that are really big. But this will let me, I guess this is a thing. Oh yeah, look, I can capture all of these by making almost any size rectangle. That's something I think we fixed in a later version. Because otherwise, here at this point, I'm just drawing big random rectangles, and they're not really teaching me anything. So let's just bear with us as we play through this. I think at level 4, this will start to become more meaningful. Because the thing is, yeah, look, I'm able to draw them in the middle of the chart. I can't remember exactly why we did it this way, because there had to have been some thinking. Or maybe this, again, is just a version that we didn't release. Okay. Oh, so now make rectangles the right size. There we go. So before I could draw 2 big rectangles. Now they've got to be just the right size or they're not going to work. So again, we're making these micro progressions here. So here, oh, I'll go up. Oh, I have, okay, so this is how it works. I have to go up from the bottom. I have to start here, and I can't go any higher than the outermost one. So now I'm starting to see, you see the 7 and the 7 highlights. These are some distinctions that would be lost on some students, but that was pretty easy at level 4. The bigger the area, the more tiles it has. Okay. So now we're introducing this final aspect, which is that we're saying the area of the rectangle matters. That's a 5x1 rectangle. So you can kind of see where this is going to go. And now I get a 2x2. So again, for learners that are just starting to learn multiplication, this is where we had, again, our most powerful uptake, because this is kind of a fun game to play. So I'm going to exit out of this for now. You get the idea. And that was an introduction level. We had then had, basically we broke it into several different levels because the machine learning that was in the background determining how you went through each level varied a little bit. Well, ultimately, we were going to combine that into one piece. Now, I've got some things here. I'm just going to go to what these are. This is about our curriculum. This here is a summary of my activity. Except it's not really showing me all my bolts. Oh, I can see them there at the top. Sorry, there, I don't need all my bolts. I've got quite a lot. You see in the 5 again is for completing different levels. So the last piece that we'll do in this is let's just punch out to another app. We've got the, we'll go to the add. Actually, the sticks one is fun. We can go to the add one later. But sticks is one where we started to, and this was really our most advanced app in terms of the distinctions that you had to be able to draw for this to work. And it's taking a while to load. So maybe let's punch out of this for now. Let's go, let's just leave the app. Let's see if we can get into it this way. Gummii sticks, here we go. So this was based, it's a different aspect ratio, so excuse me while I hold it with my hand. This was based on a Japanese method for teaching multiplication. And we tied it to the Common Core piece. And some of the key moments we've got here is that we're showing proportion between, in this case, hundreds, tens, and ones. Then this is how you can create your own question, then use this as a calculation tool. And then within that, we would give you the number of sticks that you could use to basically do this Japanese multiplication exercise. This is a bit advanced. Again, I'm not going to go through it right now, but we also showed how you could group tens, like group a bunch of ones into tens, or in this case, a bunch of tens into hundreds, and that would help you figure out how to solve a problem. So let's just quickly jump out of this into, we'll go home. We will, excuse me while I try to do this with one hand. Gummy sticks, I can actually create my own problem. So I can say, let's say I've got, I want to calculate 21 times, let's say 21 times 30, 1, 2, 3, 33. Okay. And then I hit the times button. And then this is, again, this is sort of the classic way of then showing how the tens work together to create groups of tens. So my 2 tens times my 3 tens gives me 6 tens. And then, the other, or sorry, these are hundreds. Now being created by 2 tens times 3 tens gives me hundreds. Effectively, I could then write in at the bottom here. Oh, sorry, I need to tap on each one. So that tells me I've got 6 hundreds. I can tap here and say I've got 3 tens plus another 6 tens, and then I've got 3 ones. So my answer is going to be, whoops, hold on, 693. And it didn't accept the way I formed this middle number, so I've got to do it differently. When it accepts the number, it writes the number in. And when I think I'm right, I just hit that thing at the top, and it says, good job, I did it. I get my celebratory stuff. So I'm going to pass out of this for now. The last piece that we can look at is the Gummii add piece. Hold on one sec. I'm just going to, there we go, redo this. So Gummii add, if I want to start playing, again, let's just say I'm going to play as my Taylor S character. Oh, here I need to get a login. So let's see if I have one here that's not connected with it. See, the little cloud indicates that it's connected to a classroom. I'm going to choose Sly S here and just play one of the most basic tools or games that we have here, which is what we call balance bananas. And so this is, again, explaining to a new learner how this works. Most learners won't read all this. They just click right through that, we found very quickly. But for me to balance these two things, first off, we found that we couldn't have the plates move that are going to balance. If they moved as we went, then there's really no math happening. So I would just add and add and add till they were level, and then it would go. So we had this idea of a stick. So I will, in this case, drag up. Hold on. 1, 2, and let's just get this wrong, 3 bananas. And then I break the stick. If I didn't do anything, it would take a while to let me do it, but then I check my answer and it shows me that I'm wrong. So you guess how this is going to go. We can just go like that. 1 plus 1 is, let's just see if we wait a bit, it should be giving me an indication that I need to do something. There we go. So we're going to break the stick. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then we get into these other pieces where we work with blocks. Again, this has become a long video, so I'm just going to let this go. But we've got all this addition and subtraction pieces. I'll just tap into this one piece of blocks add and subtract, where Again, here I've got a visual representation of what I've got. Here we used base 5 to cluster these things so that students could get just used to the idea of clustering. We then obviously turn that into base 1 as we get a little higher. But in this case, the idea is if some students would just count these things, but by the time they reach this level, they should already be in a position where they know they can just write in the answer and see that this is correct. And again, here we've got now 9 minus 4. And here I can kind of visually see there's 4 there, there's 4 there. So, you know, if I know that those are 5s, that tells me that that's a 5. So that I think is where we will, and then sorry, Flash would be the last piece. This is the closest thing we came to flashcards, where we've already developed a lot of the skills, and now we're just moving into the abstract or use of numbers. And so the idea here would be this is just an easy place to accumulate points. And so as you can see, I'm doing this here because my addition skills are so fantastic. If I want to spend these points, this is where I would punch out to the 3D world. And this is the game world that we were just getting ready to retire at the end because it was just very technically difficult to run. Okay, this isn't letting me go in. It may be that the game world no longer exists. Oh no, it is. So here I am. I'm in the math world. Let's choose my own person. And then there's this loads, and the world creates. There's Zoom waiting for us to be able to come through. And now I'm inside this world where Zoom is my little companion. This is you can actually create your own person, right? So if I go up here, sorry for the math music, but I can change my look, right? So I can decide I want to look like this guy. And I've got the little dummy jumpsuit on. Oh, I need to spend some points to be able to change anything else. Can I change my hair? Yes, I can change my hair. So let me make my hair red, or that's probably better. Okay. And can you change? Yeah, so this is where I could buy things. So this is where the idea of you start one, you have these points to use, is where you come in here. Now we've got bolts and gears. I'm trying to remember what gears are for. It's just been a while. But anyway, let's go back into the world. And once I'm in here, basically I've got a joystick that I can use here to walk around. And I can go up to these eggs. Just figure out, so this is my jump button. Hold on. I have to do this. Sorry, it's hard to do this with 2 hands. So in here I've got, as you can see, Zoom is blocking me. I've got an egg that I can tap on. We call them eggies. To open an eggie, get tool belt number 3. Oh, so I had to get to levels in order to be able to open some of these things. The other thing we had was these mystery cubes. And again, these are just telling you the levels you can get through in this thing. This was all modeled on, again, this was a kid's version of obviously of Minecraft. And this, the mystery box, the mystery cube is a big thing to unlock. And this got quite good usage. We saw a lot of usage from this. Let's see what happens if I can place cubes. I could change the kind of cube. There, I delete a cube. Yeah, this is really nifty actually. But then one thing I can do is pull back, get a sense of what the whole world looks like. And it was somewhat limited, unlike Minecraft that didn't go on forever, ever. So we had this sort of floating in space kind of world, but you get a sense it's like a little valley kind of play box. And if I wanted to, I could build something in here. Kids would build all sorts of structures here, and then take a picture. And then if I had an email account added by a parent, then I could actually send that picture somewhere. And then this allowed me to reset the world if I wanted to, reset where I come into it. So anyway, I'm gonna leave with that. That's a half an hour of an introduction to Gummii. And oh look, there's the Gummii store. This is where the blocks were, and these were collectibles. Yeah, you can see that a lot. Oops, they're not showing up. But you can appreciate that a lot of work and a lot of thought went into this. Because at the end of the day, it was all about trying to create an engaging experience that ultimately, to navigate that world, you were, how do I get out of this? Oh, close that. Ultimately, to get out of this world, you were competing with yourself. You were having to get better and better at math. And so this way, if I wanted to go back and get some points, it would take me back to the places that I can charge up to get more points. There we go.